another guy who contributed heavily to this win tonight for Oklahoma City, Chet Holmgren. He's our forward player of the game. And Royce, he started the game a perfect 6 for 6 from the field. Talk about efficiency.
Yeah, I think Chet scored 10 of the Thunder's first 12 points and really just did a great job again as the Thunder were feeling out this kind of scheme that the Rockets were going to throw at them tonight. Chet was a big factor in that early, spacing the floor, knocking down threes, rolling to the basket, but don't overlook the fact of how good he was on the defensive end. Again, 4 blocks. In this one, he was great on the glass, playing as the solo big for a lot of the game against one of the best rebounding teams in the league. We talked about it coming in, Paris. This is the best offensive rebounding team in the league. Yeah. Chet's out there as the lone 5 for a lot of times. The 9 rebounds, I don't think really tell the entire story of how good he was battling Houston's big guys on the glass.
This is something that Coach Dagnall brought up before the game here tonight. He said if you kind of take out and isolate Chet's minutes at the 5 so far this season, the Thunder's rebounding percentage, defensive rebounding percentage, is about 70%, which is the highest that it's been with Chet at the 5. And that's a testament to Chet and his ability to use his physicality and strength to try to get some of those boards, but also a testament to the whole team knowing that it's going to be a collective effort.
It's a great call. You know, it makes me think back to 2 years ago, Chet's rookie season, where he played all 82 games and every game in the playoffs basically as the lone big all season long. That was before Isaiah Hartenstein joined the team. And a big conversation all year long was Thunder and rebounding. And you just see, like you just laid it out perfectly, the improvement individually and collectively with Chet as the 5. The Thunder have gotten a lot better at that. Obviously, it's helped adding a guy like Hart, and obviously Jay Will has been a big part of this, but Chet himself has really improved in that area.
An absolute total team effort. And Chet, he is a total team guy, influencing this team and their ability to win games. Coming up on Thunder Live, we're going to take you to stop number 2 on this 4-game road trip out to South Beach. The Thunder with their second matchup against the Miami Heat in a matter of a week. We'll break down that matchup when we come back right after this. Road trip strong with a win against the Houston Rockets here in H-Town, 111-91. Let's get you over to the press room now so you can hear from Thunder head coach Mark Dagnall.
For you guys to take a game that's, 2-point game at the end of the third quarter and turn it into a 20-point runaway victory, what had to happen in the first 6-8 minutes of that fourth quarter for you guys to get that done?
That group did a great job. We strung together really good offensive possessions. Obviously had really good shot making early, and then great defense. And they had their starting unit basically out there. And that group that's played well all season went out there and really opened the game up for us. They did a great job.
Chet just seemed to be such a significant force to start the game and powering you guys through during maybe an adjustment period to how they were defending you all. What did you notice from him in terms of his impact?
Yeah, he was really impactful. He had great energy to start the game. His work on the glass in the second half specifically was very, very important for us. And I thought tonight offensively, we needed a lot of trust tonight with the way they were guarding us. I mean, they played a lot of different defenses, threw a lot of different schemes at us. It's good for us to have to adjust to those things in real time the way we had to tonight. And most of those schemes rely on you moving the ball ahead of aggression, trusting the pass when they're in rotation, trusting your teammate to tee up open shots. And I thought we did that for most of the night. We played with really good intentions, and we generated quality looks as a result.
You mentioned the trust required against their defense. I remember Shai, the first time he was really candid about some of that stuff, the balance and trust required with teammates was after that Dallas series a couple years ago against coverages like this. And in general, like, where do you feel he is in terms of understanding that balance and sort of maybe mastering some of these coverages, knowing what it looks like and what it requires?
Yeah, I mean, he had a couple turnovers against it early because I think, we were calibrating to the way that he was getting defended. And then after that, he had a great blend. I mean, we want him to try to beat some of those coverages. We don't want him to just accept double teams all the time. We try to give him space to split it, turn the corner. I thought he did that well. And then when he gets stopped, he respects the coverage and he throws the ball out, and then we can play 4-on-3. So he did a great job. And then Dub was 2 for 11 tonight, and he had 10 assists. I thought both of those guys, Houston limited their attempts. They kind of put all their eggs in that basket. And those guys did a great job of moving off it and allowing the rest of the guys to play with advantages.
Yeah, Minnesota was a team that liked to play like that against you guys a lot last year. I mean, the one like uncommon denominator is AJ. You didn't have AJ a ton in these situations last year. What's he changed as far as those coverages and dealing with them?
Yeah, I mean, what he's done all year for us, he's just another guy that's skilled and great feel and can, play without advantages, but certainly is a really good player when we have advantages. And so, and he plays defense. So it's like, you got guys. I thought Cason made really good plays in those rotations tonight. I thought Lou obviously shot it well, and made some really good plays. He had a great pass in one of the rotations. Caruso's always great with those. Chet's great with those. Jay Will, K Rich. And it's one of the, common threads among our role players is those guys are unselfish and they have a good feel. They can all shoot. And I thought they did a great job in kind of the secondary playmaking roles that Houston put us in tonight.
It's obviously a long season. Every team's going to go through rough stretches. But what has impressed you most about the way you guys have responded now 5 straight wins?
It's not really a response. I mean, we're just, trying to be as consistent as we can, possession by possession. And it's an 82-game season. We know that there's going to be ups and downs and there's going to be challenges along the way. And our job is to try to be as consistent as possible as those come up. Tonight was a great challenge for us. It was a road game that, it's a place we haven't won a lot the last couple of years. We've had a hard time winning here against an opponent that we knew was going to be hungry for the game, that was going to try to be really physical and bring the fight to us. And we stayed with the game, did a great job on Durant, battled on the glass, worked possessions on offense, and were able to bust the door down in the fourth quarter.
They certainly were, and it allowed them to kick off this 4-game road trip on a high note with a win over the Houston Rockets. Well, from here on out, it is all Eastern Conference opponents for Oklahoma City on the course of this road trip. The next stop actually takes the Thunder out to Miami, South Beach, to square off against the Houston Rockets, a team the Thunder actually just faced on Sunday back inside of Paycom Center and walked away with a win there.
Yeah, did a great job against the Heat, just played really well throughout that game. And really, in kind of some similar ways, it was a different type of scheme, but again, this is what Eric Spoelstra does to you, which you have to kind of problem solve throughout the game, Paris. You've got to figure out how you want to attack things. Coach Mark talked about it right there with SGA kind of calibrating tonight, had some early mistakes. And again, that's what you'll see against Miami. There's some familiarity there with the Thunder having just seen them, but you can always count on Eric Spoelstra to have something a little bit different ready to pull out. But the Thunder did a great job in that second half of really just kind of weathering storms and playing well throughout that game and really turning the offense on later in the game.
Yeah, a big factor in this one was the fact that the Thunder was able to get those second chance points, really rack up opportunities on that offensive glass. And you also see the Thunder racked up 39 points off turnovers. That's the second most that they've had all season long. So when you have that paired with the offensive rebounds, the defense, it really creates a wide margin, which is exactly what we saw in that game against Miami.
Yeah, it's interesting because and then it was additive to add the 26 second chance points, a little bit opposite of what the Rockets tonight, where they were kind of hanging on by their second chance points. But that's where the Thunder, again, we talked about it a lot. They didn't even shoot the ball that great in that game, but that was the areas on the margins where the Thunder just executed well, came up with extra possessions, kind of manufactured offense throughout the game. And then once they kind of locked in on the defensive end, really took away a lot of what Miami wants to do, which is move the ball and play with a ton of pace. The Thunder got kind of dug in on that, really kind of shut Miami down in that second half.
Yeah, going to be a really good challenge. Yet again, going up against a really strong, really good opponent. Going to be a good test for Oklahoma City out in South Beach in game number 2 of this 4-game road trip. Just a reminder, that game is not only on FanDuel Sports Network, but it's also a simulcast on Griffin and Gray as well. And that broadcast will tip off at 7 p.m. on Saturday, but tune in 30 minutes early. As always, Thunder Live, me and Royce will get you going at 6:30. Going to be a good one out in South Beach. You're going to want to tune in. But that wraps us up here in H-Town. The Thunder kicking off their road trip on a high note with some high-level defense, swarming defense to walk away with a dominant performance here in the fourth quarter to outlast the Houston Rockets 111-91 and pick up their 5th straight win in a row. Thunder going to head out to South Beach for their second game on this road trip. Until then, thanks so much for tuning in. Have a good night.